Welcome to the Use Your Inside Voice podcast. I'm Heather Dawn. Let's kick it off with a dance party.
Hello and welcome to Use Your Inside Voice podcast. This is a podcast where I bring you really interesting guests who, in my opinion, are embodying what it means to thrive in midlife, to take that time in their lives and create magic in their own unique way. And I'm just finding midlife to be so delicious. And with the name of the podcast, Use Your Inside Voice, I like to ask all of my guests the same question when I start. And so let me first introduce you to this woman sitting by me. This is Dr. Sarah Jefferis, my friend, which, you know a little bit about my story. That is still shocking to me that I'm good friends with a recipient of a PhD. Dr. Sarah Jefferis.
We are friends.
No, truly though, I'm grateful to be in the company of Sarah, Dr. Sarah. She has a master's from Cornell and a PhD from Binghamton, and she specializes in poetry. But that's like one facet of Sarah's life. Sarah is also, do you want me to call you Dr. Sarah?
No, call me Sarah.
Okay. Sarah is also a killer mother of two teenagers. One is in college and doing all the things. So we have that in common. And also one is in the same grade as one of my kids. So we have a lot to talk about when it comes to motherhood. So she's a killer single mom of two incredible teenagers. She is a yogi. She's a published poet. She's a trauma-informed writer. She edits for a living and does all kinds of other amazing things. She has lived on both coasts of the United States, which we also have in common, and has lived a pretty remarkable life. And I am just blown away by all the things that she has done, and also all the things that she has lived through and brings to her entire business. I really want to talk about, when we get into it, some of the specifics of that. But Sarah and I met a very short period of time ago, but I believe that she's one of those people that I feel like when I met her, it wasn't the first time. That sounds a little woo-woo or whatever, but I truly believe that there are people that come into your life that you have like a remembrance of, or like a reckoning. That's not the right word. Help me.
A recollection.
A recollection. Thank you. A recollection of, and then it just is so easy, and that's kind of how it's been. So actually we're sitting in her backyard, in the beautiful fall weather, and
in upstate New York.
And I have been here, assisting her with some things in her home that she's putting together, which is lovely. And she has agreed to sit down and have a little podcast chat with me. So, Sarah.
Heather.
Yes. Thank you for agreeing and for being willing. And I think you might be a little bit excited too.
I'm very excited. And thank you also for having me here. And I realized that we met 5 months ago.
It wasn't long, yeah.
It was not long, but it definitely feels like we knew each other before.
Yeah, super. I think I said that to you within days. I was like, I feel like I've known you a lot longer than 2 or 3 days.
Yes.
When we met.
The ease and laughter between us has always been there.
Super, super easy, super fun. So The first question that I would like to ask you is, how do you use your inside voice?
What a fantastic question.
Thank you. Such a cheese ball.
I am a total cheese ball.
Okay.
How do I use my inside voice? Sometimes when I think of something, I close my eyes. So there might be a second or two where I like close my eyes to like arrive
That's all right.
at some of the language of
Yes, I get
the
it.
question. Okay, so for me, inside voice,
Uh-huh.
using my inside voice is about connecting with source, connecting with light or energy or love, whatever you want to call it. For me, it's source. For me, it's God. For me, it's energy.
Okay.
Right? Connecting with that.
Mhm.
So using my inside voice,
Mhm.
I don't know whose relative that was. Using my inside voice requires me to get quiet,
Yeah.
to get still,
Mm.
to remember that I'm not alone, to trust myself, and to stay in my body.
Ooh, okay. Perfect. Perfect segue to something that I definitely want to get into
Mhm.
big time with you because uh given that you are a writer, given that you are also a yogi, and I did not mention also she's a Reiki healer, uh, you have like such a unique perspective and a really interesting twist on um, how to marry those things together.
Mm.
And sidebar, actually, it's not a sidebar; it is directly related. Sarah put on a workshop yesterday that I was able to attend, a yoga writing workshop, and she calls it mat to pen, and I believe this is TM, potentially TM, trademark, uh, because this is something that I don't think anybody's, to my knowledge, has done before, um, or that they've created a business out of, but that's what you're looking to do. Yesterday the subject matter was grief and how to access grief. And Sarah, why don't you tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
how what that process was for each of the people, like how you came to put that process together and what was the goal of it and how did it feel
Yeah.
to see it
No,
come to fruition? That was the first one?
no.
No. Okay. So how many have you, has it been something that you've,
It's been about 14 months.
okay. Okay. So,
Do you want to read your dear grief?
I don't know.
Maybe. Okay. So mat to pen. What occurred to me is that oftentimes I would come to a yoga class as a student and my brain would be all like this. And I needed to like release some of the thoughts that I had attached to, or some of the beliefs that
Right.
I had fossilized, or some of the lies that I thought were truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I had them in my head. And so that I would get on the mat and I would want to be able to expand, but the thought would be contracting, or the feeling would be contracting the muscles.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would find in those moments when the teacher would say, get some water or lay on the mat for a minute with your head, I would want a pen to be able to release some of those ideas.
Such a writer.
And then in the second time, I noticed that when I was in the practice of second or third time in the practice of yoga, at the end, after I awoke from Shavasana, right after I had practiced the stillness, that I had like 5 creative ideas and I didn't want to lose them.
Yeah.
And they were either like verses from God or ideas or images or something I needed to tell someone. It was like a piece of language that I wanted to hold on to. And I knew that in my car, I might have a pen and a journal, but I had to get to my car. Right. And so I was like, oh, I really need my journal with me. And so I started this sort of regular practice of always bringing my journal next to me in a regular yoga class. And then I was working with clients because I'm so grateful to help clients finish their books, you know, as a book editor or a book doula. And they would get stuck on an image or a metaphor. And I would say, hey, do you have a mat? And they would be like, what are you talking about? And I'd be like, hey, we're going to try this yoga pose of stretching our body. In the release of pigeon would become the release of the image.
Interesting.
And so I learned, or I remembered, that writing is a full body sport.
Are you going to trademark that?
Yes, I'm totally going to trademark that. Writing is a full body sport. And that when we can release the fascia and the muscles, we can release the images and the verses.
That's really beautiful. Like, it's a really beautiful sentiment. And also, like, I would firsthand experienced it because you took us through some poses and it's yin yoga, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not super familiar with all the different types of yoga, but yin yoga is a very opening yoga, correct? And most, because we were going to be dealing and writing about grief, most of the poses, in fact, I think maybe all of the poses, with exception to fish.
Yeah, excepting fish, yep.
Excepting fish, which I loved, were all
Hip
about
openers.
opening the hips, and grief is held in the hips, and a lot of trauma is held in the hips too. It's just our creative center. And it was very interesting to be a participant and to sit in the room, participate, and just be open to the process of what's going to come out when I start writing. And you warned us that, emotions might come up, things might, you're releasing, and you're like giving yourself an opportunity to kind of let that out, and through your body and through the pen. And I was surprised. I was surprised at what I wrote. I really was. I was quite surprised. And I'm going to ask this, like, how many of my listeners find themselves stuck in their head a lot? Like, almost like it's performative in a way of like, what am I doing it right? Like, I shouldn't write that because that doesn't, like, that's a weird thing to write. And I found myself just very quickly popping into that space and then just saying, no, like, this isn't about what's right or wrong on the page. This is about whatever is coming up. And so I'm getting better at shifting out of that and into just the freedom of just being able to write. And I went back and I read what I wrote, and it's really beautiful. Maybe it'll get shared at some point, but it was really beautiful. And so thank you for the privilege of being able to join you in that, like, experience that, because it was really cool. And I know that I'm not the only one in the room that felt that way. There were other women in the room that were, very emotional and were having their own experiences, and that's what I think is really kind of special about what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What I was going to say was, you don't have to be a writer, and you don't have to be a yogi, because the actual movements or the asanas are very simple, and we use a lot of props, a lot of blankets. So it does not matter if you are 100 pounds or 400 pounds. It does not matter if you have 2 arms and 2 legs or 1 arm and 1 leg, right? It is about, are you present in the body you are in? For me, yoga is for everybody, in everybody.
Ooh, another good one.
So when I invite people to mat to pen, it does not matter their size, shape, race, class, or connection to ever being in a studio.
Correct.
It is also not only for people who call themselves writers or creatives, because you might write a poem, an essay, a story, a sentence, or a picture with words. And it is about trusting that the emotion can be released, and the emotion can be released, and the image can be released.
Right.
And that deep reflection and self-study of finding the divine side.
Wow. Beautiful.
But I also want to come back to your other question from the very beginning, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Which is, how do you use your inside voice?
Oh, okay.
And that is.
But wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more. Many many, like, I don't know, lots, tons,
Yeah.
have said, dang, Sarah, you're loud.
Oh,
Dang, could you turn it down? You're kind of loud. You're
Mhm.
a lot, right?
I've never heard that before in my life. Directed
How many of the
toward me.
readers maybe have heard that? You're a lot, you're loud. You could learn to find an inside voice. You could learn to believe in an inside voice. Or do you remember your inside? Because your voice is not matching where you are.
Yeah.
And so I've been thinking about, the two sides of it. One for me is the interior, internal, intuitive voice.
Right.
But the other is the very literal, external throat opener, how I appear in the world. And it took me until I was, over the age of 40, that to realize that it was okay to be more than enough. And it was okay to be loud.
Right.
And it was okay to have a voice and to stand in that voice. And so I don't just use my inside voice in the yoga room of connecting with the internal intuitive spirit, but I also understand that my voice is needed in the world.
And your inside voice is what your unique person has to contribute
Yes.
to the world.
Oh, and also, sorry, I just got super excited. I think there's a relationship. I can stop. There's a relationship between inside voice. I just thought of this inside voice and internal narrative.
Oh.
And so I don't know how about it's true for your readers or for your audience members or for you. There are times when I'm not exactly kind to myself.
Yes.
And my inside voice is a sword
instead of a feather.
Right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes the internal voice inside my head is an inside voice that doesn't belong to me. And so I have to find my inside voice that is not made of lies, that is not made of the trauma, that is not made of everything that I had to survive.
Right.
That is not made of the abusers or the accusers or the obstacles.
Right.
But that is actually made of truth and love and strength
and overcoming and triumph and growth and love.
Yeah. And so I'm thinking about inside voice as also related to like internal narrative, because the inside voice in my head, I have to work to be loving and kind. Even though I think of myself as like a very goofy, loving, kind person.
Right. And a very nurturing person too.
Yeah.
Like being in her yoga class, mat to pen, she would go one by one to each of us and she'd like, are you okay? Is this comfortable? Like, do you need another blanket? How about if we move your arm like this? And if you put your hands like this and lay your head like this, is that more better? is that better? Is that more comfortable? And so, yeah, just a very nurturing way about you as well.
Yeah.
Like you like to care for people and that's really.
And the yoga studio can be really, sometimes can be scary, or people may feel very nervous or intimidated, or they might be like, am I doing this right in my body?
Right.
Or is my leg over here?
Right. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It's really in this class about how comfortable can you be to release. It's about coming to the breath.
Yeah. Here's the sad news, guys. Sarah's only doing these workshops like once a quarter.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to do it every week.
Oh, that's so sweet.
No, like really, it really was kind of like we drove together, right? And hopped in the car afterwards and I was like, I'm really like surprised by what I wrote. And I shared it with her because she offered everyone in the class a 30-minute call afterward to either talk about what that process was like or ask questions about their writing or have their writing, have an editor and a writer's and a poet's ears on what they wrote and give feedback. And like, it was a generous offering, which I think is really beautiful. But I shared a piece of what I wrote And then we were both crying.
Yeah.
Like, and she was like, Heather. And I just thought, I'm like, am I tapping into something like maybe a talent that I didn't know I had or that I never had tried, you know? And so it's
Mm.
encouraging me to do more writing,
Mhm.
and, you know, find the way to allow my body to just really be in its authentic expression. Um, and it also feels really good too. So
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
So you know, as someone who writes for a living and like does all the things all the time, like what a delicious space to be in all the
Yeah.
time, you know?
Yeah.
I wonder if it always feels delicious or if sometimes it feels a little bit like a grind, but
Hmm. Writing for me is a practice to figure out what I don't know.
mm,
It's a practice to remember who I am.
mhm.
We wrote letters. A lot of Matt to Pen is about writing letters. We wrote to grief, but we also wrote from love using Elizabeth Gilbert's Letters from Love
Yeah.
um, framework.
Yeah.
Right. So giving her credit where credit is due. We shifted what she did a little bit.
Yeah.
But we started with letters to grief. And so a lot of writing for me is about letters. Who am I writing to? Who am I writing from?
hmm
Right.
hmm
And you asked me if it felt like a grind.
Probably not.
Mm-mm.
No, I would imagine. Yeah. I'm a little bit jealous of writers. I
It's
feel.
emotional.
Yes.
And we often arrive at things, I
Writers.
arrive at things.
We the writers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't begin to even speak for all writers. You know, when you're organizing and editing, is work in it.
Sure.
There is labor.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Um, but I also just love language so much that it feels like playfulness.
Okay. Beautiful.
So there's like play in it.
Mm. Would you like to play right now?
I would.
Okay, so
Like I want to be like, no
I do
playing.
not want to play. So here's what I'm thinking. I will come up with like a subject,
Okay.
and can you maybe riff off 3 or 4 excellent writing prompts that maybe the listeners
Yes.
and I could use to practice
Yeah.
doing that?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So I know that like the idea is to be in your body and all of that. So why don't we tap into some emotions?
Okay.
Would that be good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe you could also toss in like some type of a movement, if that feels like it would align. That could also be done before or during. Okay. So I love joy, and I feel like that is an emotion that sometimes is hard for people.
Mhm.
Not all people, but sometimes that's a hard one for people. And so, could you provide us with some writing prompts around joy that would help others? It's just the squirrels that would help others access joy.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So the first thing I thought about with joy was 5-pointed star. So an asana in yoga. So my feet are a little bit more than hip width apart. My feet are grounding into the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I inhale my arms up. My fingers are wide too.
Okay.
And I look up.
Okay.
I roll my shoulders back,
mm-hmm.
and I feel the light on my face. And I also feel the expansion across my
mm-hmm.
body.
Should I do it with you?
Yes, please do it with me.
All right. So, like so, right?
Yes.
And expanding
out so that you feel the energy across,
mm-hmm.
and that you also feel the diagonal energy.
Okay, from my arm to my leg.
Yes.
And from my arm to my leg.
Yes.
Okay.
And so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-pointed star.
Okay.
That's a joy asana.
And you hold that for a certain amount of time.
You might inhale and exhale for 3 breaths.
Okay.
Another asana that I would say,
okay.
and then I'll give you a writing prompt for joy. would be, did you know we were going to move in this?
No. Okay, so just to move the chairs out of the way.
Yeah, we're just, why
Okay.
are we sitting, right? Would be warrior 2. Okay, so your front leg is bent. You build yoga from the ground up, okay? Pressing into the earth. Back leg is straight, okay? Inhale. Open your arms to a T. Is it this way? Yes. Okay. Look that way. Joy in the warrior, okay? Turn the palms open. Receive, okay? The warrior who receives. So for here, there's strength. Joy for me comes in strength. So you might move from 5-pointed star to warrior 2. Okay. Yes.
And then
beautiful.
and then you say,
and then
come on.
So if you're gonna write with warrior 2, if you're gonna write about joy, I like to use questions. So you might say, how am I made from the stars? 5-pointed star, right? How am I made from the stars? What part of me is stardust? How do I connect to the stars? With warrior 2, is there strength and joy? Are they related? Is there joy in my strength? Is there joy in my reach?
So,
and also maybe, sorry, last one.
Go ahead.
How can I reach for joy? So how can I reach for joy with my thumbs up? And how can I reach for joy with my arms?
Yes.
Right? How can I expect joy?
How can I receive joy?
How can I receive joy? Yeah.
And
so that's a little play for you with asana and
dear joy.
Dear joy. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What does joy want to tell you?
Right? Girl.
That was you in your letters.
Yes.
Dear joy, what does joy have to tell you?
Yeah.
And then just write.
Yes.
And if you feel stuck, go do one of the poses.
Yes.
Okay, so there's so much more to Dr. Sarah Jefferis. Like, honestly, like, she's a fascinating individual to speak to. There's a lot of depth to who she is. I said earlier, she's a trauma-informed human being because there are things that she has been through that allow her access to places that most people don't have access to in the depths of human experience. And so knowing that as a listener, there's a gift that she wants to offer to all of the listeners. And that is, would you like to share?
I would.
Okay. Lean in.
So I love helping people find the writer within. And so anyone who's listening to the podcast can find me on Instagram, Dr. Jefferis Right Now. Right Now is the name of the business, by the way.
WRITE NOW. Dot NOW.
Yes. So Dr. Jefferis Right Now. And you click on Linktree, there's a discovery call that you can have with me for free for 30 minutes. We'll talk about writing. We'll talk about your writing project. If you're writing poems or essays or stories or a novel, we'll talk about asanas and how you might be able to move through a writing block to the writing that you want to create. So you're welcome to find me on Instagram at drjefferis.rightnow.
drjefferis.rightnow on Instagram. Okay. Yes. And your website address
is sarahjefferis.com.
Okay. sarahjefferis.com.
Yes.
And if you're a listener and you're intrigued about this trauma-informed comment that has been dropped and you want to explore more about that, maybe you're someone who has experienced trauma in your life and it would be a blessing to you to have someone that could assist you in accessing that trauma and processing it in a unique way through writing and movement. Sarah is an excellent person to do that with, and a lot of her, she does have 2 books of poetry that have been published. And at least one of them dives pretty deeply into a lot of that trauma. And so if you're curious about that, you can also look that up on her website as well. What else? Is there anything? Do you feel complete? Is there anything else that you would like to discuss?
I would say that some people think they need a writing coach and an editor when they've finished a project. And actually, it's not like that for me. If you have finished the project, I'm happy to work with you. But if you have an idea for a poem or an idea for an essay or one paragraph, I'm really excellent at helping you find the writing prompts and the yoga to move from a paragraph to a completed document. Right?
Cool.
So if you are feeling stuck in your writing, or you want to expand, or you're not sure how to get from page 1 to page 2, please come find me, because I'm here to help you with that.
Beautiful.
That's what I would say. And thank you. My deepest gratitude for sitting in the fall leaves in upstate New York with the sunlight, doing our 5-pointed star.
Yes. Awesome. So much fun.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm going to leave you with the thought to always tune into your inside voice, to find it, to use it, to love it, and to share it. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for joining us today on the Use Your Inside Voice podcast. I'm Heather Dawn. We'll see you next Friday and every Friday after that.